Welcome to Compliance Caddy, a popular compliance and practice management software solution for the legal sector. Its primary objective is to remove compliance headaches, save time, and to efficiently help run the practice. Allow me to explain what it is, who it is for, how it saves you time, how it helps with third parties, and finally, a look around the system. What is it? Compliance Caddy was originally designed to help lawyers quickly and painlessly complete the monthly Colt and Covert checks. Over time, it has broadened into a practice management system, as it includes sections dealing with HR, central records and registers, file reviews, GDPR, COVID-19, and both an internal and external library of key documents and resources. Who is it for? It's designed primarily for small and medium-sized practices, although it is suitable in helping large firms ensure they've got the basics right. How it saves time. Once the system is set up at our end, it should take the Colt and Covert only a few minutes per month to complete the monthly checklists. Along with the simple central records, using this system will save several hours a month compared with any paper system. It also saves you time looking for things. How many of us have wondered exactly where some central records are and whether the version number is the most recent? These concerns disappear with electronic compliance software. Third parties. The software works perfectly with third-party quality assurance standards, such as Lexel and the Specialist Quality Mark and the SRA standards and regulations. If you choose, you may grant temporary access to the system to an auditor or inspector, or simply show them around. Our experience has been that they have been very impressed with the system. Let's have a look at the system. We'll start by looking at the home page. We recently introduced the idea of highlighting Caddy updates in the middle of the screen in order to highlight to users logging on of any recent changes. So you can see here a number of updates have been made with HR forms and checklists and a number of COVID-19 documents. You can see some navigation bars at the top of the page. Let's start by looking at the Risk Register, which is contained in the Registers and Forms section. The SRA expect firms to maintain a risk register in order to demonstrate that the firm has thought about risk and what actions are taken to mitigate, transfer, reduce, or avoid risks altogether. The SRA expects firms to classify certain headings as shown in the drop-down box. You can either start from scratch with a blank register or you can use our template. Let's look at operational risks. Most of these risks would apply to almost every law firm, for instance having inadequate systems and controls, client care letters containing incomplete or inaccurate information, undertakings not being discharged, accepting unsuitable instructions, and coping with catastrophic events. The Breech Register you'll probably be familiar with. It's a register for recording any serious and non-serious breaches. It is simple to create a new record by clicking on a button. We have a few simple fields to complete in order to record that breach. On the right-hand side, there is help, so if you weren't clear about what these questions meant, you could click on the relevant help box and that would give you guidance about, say, whether a breach was serious or not. If you were still concerned, we would of course be happy to offer our opinion. Let's next look at the central records that firms should consider maintaining. Your regulator would expect you to keep some of these records up to date, whilst quality standards such as Lexel and the Specialist Quality Mark insist on certain records and registers being maintained. For example, most firms will have a list of approved suppliers. This includes counsel, interpreters, medical experts, and any other suppliers used during the case of a course. For example, you can see here a list of various fictitious experts in this central register, and it is very easy to add a new expert by simply clicking on the Add New button. One important feature of this software is the download and upload buttons. The download buttons, which are populated throughout this software product, enable you to download your data into an Excel spreadsheet without you having to incur a cost to download and keep your own data. The upload button enables you to upload Excel spreadsheets into our system in order to save time retyping. Let's just look at one other central record, website management. This is particularly topical given the SRA's sweep of solicitor websites. Completing website management records provide evidence that the website has been reviewed for compliance against the SRA transparency rules and also the ICO's data protection rules regarding privacy notices. Now, let's move on to the Colt and Covert monthly checklists. We changed the checklists in November 2019 to take account of the changes to the SRA's regulations. Let's have a quick walk through the Colt monthly checklist. We shall create a monthly checklist for the month of March 2020. We can either manually write in the words March 2020 or we can use the calendar built into the system. On the first page, there are a number of questions covering file reviews, outsourcing, third parties, and contractors. You'll notice that default answers have been pre-populated in order to speed the system up and save you time. So, if your answers match the default answers, you would be able to complete your Colt checks in a matter of minutes. If there was an issue, on the other hand, you would click on the No box, and then you would explain what had happened. Let's move on to the page next. Here we have a checklist of what to do when recruiting new members of staff. On this page, we have some questions about risk management. And on this page, we cover areas such as conflict, undertakings, and complaints. Here we have questions covering data security, regulatory compliance, and financial stability. Financial stability used to be the preserve of the COFA, but since the new regulations were introduced in November, this has now changed to the Colt. Finally, we have some questions here about the operation of the Colt role and confirmation that the checklist has been completed in full. The final question, of course, cannot be answered right now, so here you would need to click on yes before clicking on finish. You can then view the checklist. This is really useful if you need to print the checklist and take evidence of the completed checklist to a partners meeting or perhaps a trustee board meeting. It provides objective evidence of compliance in action. If you would like to see the COFA monthly checklist, I would be happy to provide you with a personalised demonstration. Under Employees and Training, We have firm competence statements, plus the training plan, individual training plans, and training records, together with a list of various areas where staff need to keep their knowledge and skills up to date. On the left-hand side, we have individual annual leave and sickness records for each member of staff, and a number of other useful forms and checklists. In case you are wondering, you can define which members of staff have access to which parts of the system. For instance, you would expect every member of staff to have access to their training plan and training record, but not necessarily to the Colt and Covert monthly checklists. Looking at the file reviews section, there are two alternative methods of undertaking file reviews. You can either use one of the electronic forms to complete your file reviews, or you can use your own file review record and simply upload your paper documents onto the system. One of the key features of this system is that because it is paperless and stored in the cloud, you cannot lose your documents. So important documents such as your business plan and your business continuity plan and other documents will be kept without fear of them being lost. The data is securely stored and backed up on EU and UK compliance servers using Amazon in Dublin. We also have a GDPR section that enables you to keep the records and registers you need to demonstrate compliance with the Data Protection Act. Let's look at the firm's document section. There are two document sections. The first section is less sensitive than the second. Here you are able to upload any documents which relate to your firm, for instance, insurance records, accreditation certificates, and any other documents of importance. I mentioned that there is a second firm's document section which relates to more sensitive areas, such as breaches, employee records, financial records, and complaints handling. Let's next have a quick look at the library and resources. Here we have a number of important resources and details of courses and webinars that we have produced in the past. Another section that has been used by our retainer clients is the COVID-19 area. Once the government announced the so-called lockdown, we moved quickly to produce guidance about COVID-19 and in particular furlough guidance, and documents such as a written furlough agreement. If you have any further questions or would like a more personalised demonstration, please get in touch with a member of the team.